Welcome back to another episode of the New Era Nerds podcast. This is a Bad Batch, Star Wars The Bad Batch, episode 5 and 6 recap. And then after that, we're going to hit you with top 5 lightsabers. So, pretty fun episode. There's a lot to talk about within this. Thanks for tuning in on. If you're on YouTube, just make sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate that a ton. We want to keep getting you these videos, these podcasts, and content. And then if you're listening on a podcast, just support the podcast that way. Of course, you can follow us on our socials. Twitter and Instagram are at New Era Nerds Pod, and then the TikTok is new_era_nerds. So yeah, we're posting content on there as well, like highlights from the episodes and things like that. So, and then some other stuff too, other nerd-related content that doesn't make the episodes will be on those. So all the support, we appreciate it, and we're just going to keep going through. So Star Wars The Bad Batch, episodes 5 and 6. Logan, if you want to just give some thoughts, and then we can do a quick recap since it's a 2-episode thing, and then, of course, get into the main point that we really want to talk about.
Episode 5 and 6, right? Good. And we were kind of talking before the show, and you mentioned it's, we're starting to take shape here. We're starting to get a shape of the show, and it's not just intro. We're getting out of intros. Even though we're meeting new characters, we're kind of developing who we know now is going to be the main characters, who we've always known is going to be the main characters, but we're getting to know them a little better now. Or we have gotten to know them, and we are now moving on from that stage of the show. Other than that, I mean, I'm excited for this story that's starting to take place. We're starting to get, I guess, like I said, an idea of what's going to be happening, who's going to be showing up. We know who's going to be in the show from here on out, except for, obviously one massive detail, but we'll get into that later. So yeah, they've still got me interested. How about you, Tommy?
Yeah, so episode 5, I think they were dangerously close to doing the thing where they put out too many episodes in a row that follows the formula of crash on a planet, do a mission, get off the planet. That's how I felt after watching episode 5. I was like, damn, if they do it again, like, it's really going to be tough and hard to defend them if they keep doing that. And luckily, episode 6 kind of steered away from that a little bit. They threw a couple wrenches in there that made it different than that. This time, they didn't have to crash land on a planet. They were already on the planet. So boom, formula broken. No, but seriously, as the series goes on, they do need to really avoid that. It felt like that a lot with The Mandalorian. Obviously, I've said it before, they can get away with it a lot better with it in The Mandalorian because it's just such a big production, movie quality episodes. And the episodes are also 45 minutes to an hour long. So, with all that, it just makes it a little more acceptable. When you get these 20-minute cartoon episodes, you can't do that. It's not what the cartoons did in the past. So I really hope that they don't continue that process and just have like filler episodes like that. But no, episode 6, I thought was really cool. We got to see the Martez sisters, Trace and I forget the other one's name. It's Trace and someone else, but they're the Martez sisters. We met them in season 7. Rafa, yes. We met them in season 7 of the Clone Wars. They help out Ashoka, and Ahsoka kind of teams up with them for the Clone Wars. I didn't love them in the Clone Wars. I thought their arc was a little too long in the Clone Wars. So I kind of got annoyed at them. Just kind of because there was so much other stuff that I wanted to see and get to in that season 7 of that. So that's kind of why I didn't like them there. But I was actually pleasantly surprised when they popped up here. Like for how much I got annoyed with them during the Clone Wars, I was happy. Like I smiled when I saw them on screen. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. We're hopefully, we're going to find out what they've been up to since the Clone Wars, since the end of episode 3 of Star Wars, since Order 66. We're going to find out, of course, the big question of who they're talking to on that hologram and who wants the main point of what this whole episode was getting that tactical droid's head.
Right.
That was a pretty cool mission. Obviously, the tactical droids being the strategic leaders of the droid army during the Clone Wars. So they
we
had a
did
lot of
see
information.
whom we did see a lot in the Clone Wars, the show.
Yeah,
They played a
tactical droids.
huge part in that show.
Yep, they're just like the military strategists for the droid army. They were droids that had the ability to think, and that obviously makes them very valuable for either people who are trying to fight against the new empire, which is run by clones, or really it could be valuable for the empire as well to figure out like, hey, what are the weaknesses we're not seeing. So it'll be pretty interesting to see, why the whoever needed it. I'll also be interested to see if the person who hired the Martez sisters is also the person who hired the person that the Bad Batch are working with to get the head. If he hired two different groups of people, so
Right.
finally we're moving into an area of where it's going to be a lot easier to break away from the formula that they were dangerously close to and still are dangerously close to falling
They're
into.
one episode away from it. At all times, I feel like they're just one episode away from just reverting back to, the whole, like you said, the formula, which they know, I guess, works, but at the same time, it's starting to not. Crash on planet, fight your way out, leave planet. It's,
Right. It won't work forever.
right. So I guess if you want to get into it already, let's go ahead. Who's the hologram?
Yeah, definitely. So I think there's three really big major ones that people are talking about, and one that everyone's kind of excluding. And everyone's already excluding it as it can't possibly be Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And
she was already a mysterious hologram, character in it wasn't the Clone Wars, was it?
no, she was very much a main character in the Clone Wars.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So was it she already played a mysterious I think I want to say, and I haven't seen Rebels, but I remember
She's
when I
pretty
was
big in Rebels too.
right, but I remember that she could have possibly, or she was a mysterious hologram figure in some other show or movie or something. But I remember that fact. So could they put her back as a mysterious hologram character?
Well, everyone's excluding it and saying that it's not Ahsoka because the Martez sisters addressed it as pull him up or call him up or whatever. They called it a him. So everyone's assuming that it just has to be a guy at this point. But as we've seen, especially in the Clone Wars, all Jedi are referred to as Sir by the clones. And they also just kind of Ahsoka gets called Sir a lot in the Clone Wars, just because again she was a Jedi, and those generals they were always called Sir, even by like commanders that weren't clones and things like that. They would address her as Sir. So I almost wonder if that's just kind of a general thing that's not necessarily even just within the clone army, but in the world as well. Like, okay, Jedi are just addressed as like in male form. So I wouldn't counter out 100% yet. I'd probably counter out 98%, but just because of that one thing, I wouldn't counter out 100%. The next big three that they're considering are Rex, Darth Maul, and Senator Organa. So, what do you think about those?
I'd love for it to be Rex. I know you and I talk about it all the time on the show. Or on this show, we've been wanting some Captain Rex. Just mostly because he's a badass, and he's one of our shared favorite characters from kind of the cartoon era of things, not era, but cartoon facet of Star Wars. However, I would dig if it was Maul. I think that would be freaking awesome, man, to get Maul this early in the show. But again, that's a huge name drop, and I don't know. I truly can't. I don't know. I have no idea. Also, one of my thoughts was they could also be doing something for kind of Saul Guerrera's little fact there over. I forget what planet they're currently on, but that would also that was a name that I saw get thrown out there in these little chat rooms. It could have been somebody doing something for Saul Guerrera or him or that himself. What do you think the possibilities of that are?
I hope it's not Saul Guerrera. I don't really personally like Saw Gerrera all that much. I think he's a little bit honestly overplayed in these Star Wars projects. I don't know. I just don't really like him too much. I want to revisit the Darth Maul conversation though, not to just totally push
go
off
ahead.
your research there. I honestly just personally hate Saw Gerrera. I kind of think he's a lame character that they use as like a buffer character to just throw into things. So I don't like him.
To that,
But I think
agree.
there's a couple of reasons that it could be Darth Maul. One being that he is a huge factor and character in the Clone Wars and Rebels. This is very clearly a show that's spinning off of the Clone Wars. He was incredibly involved in season 7 of the Clone Wars when we met the Bad Batch. So timeline wise, it makes sense. As far as motivation wise, it also really adds up because in the last season of the Clone Wars, as well as his whole kind of motivations in Rebels, is he hates Darth Sidious. He hates him. He hates the Sith. He was taken in by the Sith, trained and used as simply a weapon, an ends to a means, and then they cast him aside and forgot about him. So he hates Darth Sidious and the Sith, and he would have huge motivation to try to take them down and dismantle them. It was, again, that was his motivation in season 7 of Clone Wars, as well as Rebels. As far as him wanting information on how to defeat these clones and things like that, hey, that commander droid is very obviously a purpose to that. He hates the Empire because that's Sidious's new army. So, boom, that's a way to do it. He's familiar with the droid army. He's worked with them before. He knows that. So that all adds up. And finally, I think a good reason why it could be him also, not only the robes people mention, oh, we see the robes and stuff like that. It looks similar to his outfit, but also he's at this point, or at some point, we know because of the Solo movie, he becomes in charge of the Crimson Dawn crime organization in Star Wars, kind of that underground crime bounty hunter secret army type thing in the Star Wars universe. So the Crimson Dawn, which Darth Maul leads, could be a huge group that's funding this, paying for this, and ultimately what he's trying to make and turn into his own type of rebel alliance. So I think those are some of the reasons why it could be him and why it would make sense for him story-wise.
Oh, and I'd love to hear from him. I mean, honestly, like, I just, again, like I said, I love his, I love his character. He's probably of, I guess the villains, I would say he's probably up there with my favorite, but then again, we don't know. They could totally just go with the easy layup here and, do something. It could be, as much as I want to see Ahsoka and all that, I just feel like it would be a little bit lazy if they went with Saw Gerrera, like you were saying, or Ahsoka. But hey, I'll take anything at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And then from a story standpoint for Rex too, there's a lot of things to mention. So the droid that we see the sisters with is R7, who in the season 7 of the Clone Wars is Ahsoka's astro droid. The astro droid ends up getting damaged in that final fight of season 7, but we see that Rex takes it onto his ship and fixes him up and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting to now, at this point, we're not too far off from the ending of Clone Wars into this show, timeline-wise, maybe a couple weeks max between Order 66 and now. So them to have Rex's droid, or Ahsoka's droid that Rex took, fully repaired, it says that, off screen, they've obviously had some sort of contact with him. And they also dropped the line of, there are these deserter clones, or clones, that aren't following Order 66. We thought you might be interested in knowing that. So that's another part. Why would this person care about defective clones that aren't doing Order 66, that aren't, loyal to the Empire, defecting from the Empire?
Well,
so
and if they were working for the Empire, if they were working for the Empire, you think they're kind of kill on sight. They're really, you know, I would say at this point they've worked themselves into, you know, kill. You know, they need to be killed. It's not worth bringing them in, and they're not going to come in alive. So I think that we can definitely know that it's probably not somebody with the Empire. Which, thank God, you know, I want to. Well, and obviously they wouldn't do it this early in the show. They wouldn't put him in trouble. I think they're going to play that Empire thing out. I think that's going to be, you know, kind of our overarching conflict. Obviously, we're going to have micro conflicts throughout each episode, like we did this past Friday with, you know, the Martez sisters and getting the droid commander droid head, or the tactical droid head, and you know, so I think I'm glad, and I'm relieved that it's not already the Empire, and that's not going to just be not a one-sided, but a one-dimensional kind of conflict throughout the entire show. I'm just, you know, I'm glad we're going to get a bunch of micro conflicts, introductions to new characters, and it's going to keep on rolling from here.
Right. Yeah. So one, and these might be the same for you. So to wrap this conversation up, one, who do you want it to be? And two, who do you realistically think it's going to be?
Tie between Captain Rex and Darth Maul. Realistically, I think it's going to be fucking Saw Gerrera. I'm sorry for the F-bomb, but I have faith and I have hope, but you know, I just think they're going to go for the low-hanging fruit on here.
This
one.
Yeah, I'm same boat. I want it either way. Rex or Darth Maul would be really cool. Those are both incredible characters that I love. So I'm cool with either of those. Who do I think it's going to be? I really, really hate this part of the question so much because I think Disney is going to do the thing that Disney keeps doing to us until we're going to riot. And it's going to give us someone that no one even wants. So yeah, either Saw Gerrera, or they're going to pull what we got in the WandaVision series on the whole astrophysicist who made the vehicle that had to penetrate the shield. It's just going to be a random throwaway character. It's going to be nobody. No one. Or like a totally new character that one we didn't need to meet and don't want to meet and just isn't going to add much. And it's going to piss us off like it's pissing me off right now. It's going to have no return. It's not going to give back to us. It's not going to make us feel good. And they're just going to piss us off.
So this is a call to action. Disney, prove us wrong this week. Prove us wrong.
Please.
We'd love to see it.
Break the formula and give us a good character.
Yeah, the Martez sisters ship's gonna crash on a planet. They're gonna be like, oh shit, you were the person on the hologram.
Yeah, right, exactly. Honestly, it's probably not even gonna be this episode. So.
You know, oh god. If
it's not going to be. They're going to follow, like, they're probably going to circle back to Crosshair or something. We haven't seen what the Empire's been up to in a while.
Right.
So honestly, we probably will circle back to that storyline and then come back to this the following week.
But it's a long format show. So it's like we've been talking about, like you originally mentioned, you know, they're going to, it's going to be better bingeable. You and I are going to go back and watch this show and go, oh my God, this is an awesome show. Well, you know, right. I'm not saying we're saying it's a bad show. It really isn't. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's a really good show.
No, I'm enjoying it a bunch.
Right. I'm still interested. I'm still hanging around. I'm going to watch every episode until the end. It's just, we have a couple, you know, hesitations with what they're about to do.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. So wrapping that up, we actually finally have some fan interaction this week. So
no way.
If you are a fan of ours, you can go on our Instagram at New Era Nerds Pod, or our TikTok, new_era_nerds, and comment when we post about asking you guys for your thoughts and your theories. When you comment them, we're going to talk about them. So we finally got some this week, and let's talk about it a little bit. So we have Bad B _ATCH 99. So Bad Batch 99 comments. It better be Braca. And that was just a post that we made saying, hey, like, what are your thoughts on the episode? You know, what's going on? So Braca is, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I might not be. It's actually a planet from the video games, The Force Unleashed. It's where you start out, and it's
Oh,
where the characters are working on the Republic ships and taking things apart, selling them, and for pieces and stuff like that. Where that whole story kind of develops. So it'd be pretty interesting. We know Dave Filoni will pull things from all sorts of the Star Wars universe, pulling these super minute details from video games or from shows like Rebels and stuff like that, and pumping it into his mainstream Star Wars content. And
okay.
I wouldn't even consider this mainstream content, the Bad Batch show, and especially not a video game wouldn't be considered mainstream Star Wars content. Mainstream would just be the movies and then The Mandalorian. Uh, so that's a pretty cool concept and thought if it is that planet, or if we're going to see that planet. Um, Really anything from the video games being pulled into an actual show and becoming really fully legitimate Disney canon would be pretty sweet.
I I agree. I never played The Force Unleashed. Did you?
I started it. I have not finished it yet. I don't have enough time or as much time as I would like to play video games. I do always end up getting stuck playing like really the game that like all my friends will be playing, or something like that. I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Battlefront,
Oh
so
yeah.
that's pulled fully from the movies. So there's not really any things you could pull from those video games that would be like, oh, crazy. But I know a lot of people want the characters from these games, from the Force Unleashed as well as the Fallen Order. People want to see those characters.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's not going to be long, I don't think, before we do get those characters into a show or something. I think Disney might be holding back, being like, all right, let's release 3 or 4 really banger shows before we start pulling these really weird characters that most people don't know about. So
I can
I
see
would
that
like to see
happening.
it. Badb_Atch99. I love the thought, love the idea of, pulling these video game aspects into the show. I know a lot of people thought they would do it with The Mandalorian, uh, being the Jedi they were talking about. So, it's only a matter of time, I think, before we finally start getting these video game characters and places and things like that into the shows.
I agree. Also, I think
So
I believe it was Vader. He had a really cool set of armor in The Force Unleashed. I'm looking at it now. I think that's Vader. Definitely looks like his saber. But I'll share
he's in the
screen.
game, yeah.
I'll share screen real quick. So, going back to our conversation last week with our top 5 armors, this could definitely make a case. It's pretty cool. So right here, what we got here, dig it, love it. Think it's. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, pretty freaking cool. Unless, wait, hold on. That might not be Darth Vader.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah,
Again,
look
I'm
at
not
that.
super familiar with that game. I just started
No,
it,
but look
but
right here. That definitely isn't a part of. I didn't notice that at first.
yeah.
Huh.
All right, YouTube in the comments below, let us know
Yeah,
who that is, because this is neither of us have played the game, so let us
that
know.
is. Oh man, dig that a whole
Let us
lot.
know his name, because that is a badass villain.
Absolutely. Okay, so with that being said,
We got one more.
oh, go ahead. I love
We
it.
have another one. Yeah. So additionally, asking people their thoughts and stuff and what they want to hear about. Prime.Omar, shout out to you, one of our other loyal followers. He's a big time active on our Instagram, so we appreciate that. He commented, "I hope nothing bad happens to Wrecker." Oh, Omar, I'm
Me
sorry,
too,
man.
buddy.
I'm sorry to tell you. Uh, it looks like it's gonna. It looks like it's gonna. We finally got an answer to what all these headaches are, and you say you hope nothing bad happens to Wrecker. We also hope nothing bad happens to Wrecker. I
Yeah,
like Wrecker.
dude, it's
I
not
didn't
looking
like him as
good.
much in Clone Wars. I'm liking him a lot more in this show.
Right on.
But you heard him say it. Good soldiers follow orders. That chip's getting activated.
Yeah, it's happening. Oh, And well, maybe they'll find a way to reverse it. Maybe that'll be one thing that they, maybe that's probably it might come to play in the big final conflict of the show.
A lot of people are saying that's why they're gonna meet up with Rex, to get Rex to help them deactivate that chip. Obviously, Rex had his deactivated, so obviously that's a big motivation to meet up and have Rex in the show. But yeah, right now he's not on a good pace. It seems like every time he gets a little bonk, it gets closer and closer to activating. And
what was the fan's name? What was their
Prime.Omar?
Prime.Omar, buddy. Listen, man, we're with you, but not looking good.
No, it's not. I have a bad feeling, Omar, that your thoughts and dreams might be getting crushed soon. Hopefully not, but
I would. However, I would love to see Disney go all Game of Thrones on us and just yank a main character. I mean, they already have, but that was the very beginning.
No,
of the
I
show.
agree.
I mean,
there has to be consequences in these things. There has to be consequences.
That formula works. Killing a main character keeps people interested. It does. As much as we're attached to him and we like him, and he's honestly he's comic relief. He's half of the comic relief in the show. But
right.
R.I.P.
Right.
That's where I'm at. Not R.I.P. But
Well, maybe soon. One more thing, just as far as like comic relief goes, I did really like the scene where the Martez sisters and everyone was like fighting the droids, and she yells a plan of like, hey, let's do this, and then the other sister repeated it, and she's like, is there an Echo in here? And Echo goes, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So I just thought, I chuckled. That was funny. Just kind of like he didn't even realize it, but total dad joke. So yeah, I really like that.
Love it. Okay, well, let's get into top 5 sabers. Tommy,
all right,
would you like
top
to kick
5 lightsabers. If you're watching on the YouTube, comment your favorite sabers. Someone commented on our last top 5 on the top armors, so they put some awesome insight in there, and we really appreciated that. So yeah, let us know after you listen to this, what are your top 5 sabers? All right, I will start this week, and I am going to go number 5 being Count Dooku's lightsaber. This is pretty this is a pretty sweet one, because not only does it look really cool just as a lightsaber perspective, the actor, I believe his name's Christopher Lee for Count Dooku, he was I'm not sure which country it was. It's slipping my mind, but he was in the military, and he was one of their like best fighters with the sword and everything like that. And it was actually, his lightsaber hilt was modeled off of his military sword that he wore in his like fancy uniform. But people like in the military, when they wear like for observations or ceremonial, his ceremonial sword, that's what his lightsaber hilt was designed after. So I think that detail of it is really cool. And then it's also just got the curved part, which you really don't see a lot of, as well as that hook at the top that kind of rides the blade of the lightsaber. It's a really cool lightsaber hilt. One of my favorites.
Pretty cool. All right. Number 5 for me was Kylo's. I just love it. Okay. And you know what? As much as I say I don't like the sequels, I find myself coming back to liking the material things and certain itty bitty facets of the sequel of those movies. I think, and I'm not going to go off on this tangent too much. It just makes me think more and more every day that if they would have changed just a couple things, like the dialogue between Finn and
Phasma.
They'd have just kept that scene in the movie, and made 4 other smarter choices, we'd have had great movies. But like I said, I feel like I go off on that tangent every damn episode, so I'm not going to. But yeah, Kylo Ren's saber, just because it's got the the little thingies and it looks like it's on fire. It's just badass, and it's super powerful.
So, live shout out, Miss Mandalore on Instagram followed us. So Shout out to you, Miss Mandalore. Thank you. Yeah,
okay.
no, I agree. The sequels do have so much cool stuff that they were working with, and they just said, let's not make it cool.
Let's make a crappy movie.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Very cool lightsaber.
All
right. My number 4, not my number 2. My number 4, I'm going to keep this Sith train rolling. We talked about him earlier, Darth Maul. The only, I believe it's the only dual-bladed lightsaber we've seen in movies, not counting Darth Rey. We got that very quick shot of her folding up one, which was sweet. But this is the only one that we've seen consistently and like used in a fight and things like that. Not only that, in the Clone Wars and Rebels, he also has the ability to detach it, so it's 2 single blades, and he fights with it like that sometimes, which also is really cool. So yeah, I mean, other than that, it's a pretty simple looking one. It just kind of looks like a really long pipe with 2 vents on the end, but it's cool. Its ability to attach and collapse was really cool, and then just him as a character is just so cool. So yeah,
big Maul podcast we've got today. We're on the Maul train today, so if you don't like it, get used to it. Yeah, number 4 for me was Dooku. Okay. And that was purely based, kind of like how you were saying, that was purely based on the hilt alone. It's a red saber. There's some other facets to it that are pretty cool, but yeah, I think it just all comes down to the hilt on that one. Pretty badass.
Very cool. Yeah, I agree. I love it. All right, moving into the top 3s. Moving up, my number 3 is going to be Mace Windu's.
Damn it, that's my number 3.
Let's go. We're just getting on the same page here. The more and more we do this, our brainwaves are just kind of getting on the same level. Yeah, I mean, his hilt is cool. It's got a lot of, so it's like base silver with a lot of gold accents, and then just like a touch of black at the bottom, which really makes what I think the rest of the gold accessories really stand out a lot more. And then, of course, it's the purple lightsaber. Come on.
He is blink the cool. Fuck out, man. That thing's too cool.
Yeah. Yep. I just feel like, for whatever reason, when he's in lightsaber fights, and let me know if this makes sense, because it might not, but in my mind, this makes sense to me. Okay. There are certain lightsabers that when they're fighting and that when they're being swung around, look like they're heavier and more powerful than other lightsabers.
I could agree with that.
Okay, cool. When he's fighting, especially in episode 3 against Sidious, his hits and stuff, it looks like Sidious is like, oh shit, like, why is this thing hitting so hard? Like, it just looks so powerful when he's swinging it. And I don't know if it's the purple or if it's just Sam Jackson being a badass, but it kind of plays in the Clone Wars too when he fights. It just looks like a powerful swing. It could cut through anything. So with that power behind it, I don't know. In lightsaber fights, like when it's lightsaber on lightsaber, it just looks stronger. So yeah, I'm glad that made sense.
Back on the hilt, man. It is just so pretty. It's
throw it up on the screen.
We got it. Absolutely. Let's do some screen sharing. Look at that, man. You cannot beat that at all. It's so pretty.
It is.
It's perfect.
It is. My brother has a I think it's on our TikTok. My brother has a Mace Windu lightsaber that you see a lot of, like the replica sabers and stuff like that. He has one of those. Him and I fought on Christmas Eve in the middle of like a blizzard in our street.
Looked cool.
I got to use the Mace Windu saber. He used just like a blue one. Oh, look at that. It's not on our TikTok. Interesting. I'll post it. But yeah, we did a lightsaber fight and I got to use it. It was cool.
That is pretty cool. And I would love, and actually I was kind of just wondering, I wonder if NeoPixel has a NeoPixel being that, in my opinion, they make the best replica sabers. Shoot them out.
They're significantly more expensive, but
oh,
yeah.
absolutely, they are ridiculously expensive. So, but I think they make super cool sabers. And I am currently looking. I'm not seeing it, but however, just to give you guys some reference, I mean these sabers are $500-$600. But however, go give them a follow on Instagram. They'll probably never notice us, but they make some pretty cool stuff. However, I wonder if you can make them at Disney.
A what?
Like a Mace Windu saber, because I know they have like different pieces of in the make your own saber experience. I guess.
Right. No, you can't. I know. So from what I've seen, it looks like you can't really make a specific Jedi accurate hilt in that saber
unless you know exactly the different components.
Because you have to, if you want a replica of a specific Jedi, you have to go buy it at the gift shop.
Oh.
Disney just milking you for cash. Yep, you can make your own, but you cannot make your own replica. Got to buy that one separately.
Well,
they do have his replica at the Disney store, though. So
I can only imagine. I haven't been to. I think that's a trip for this summer that the old wife and I are going to do. Is we're going to try to go down to Disney for a weekend. As most of you may know, we are from Ohio, so it is a little hard for us to get to Disney. I'm not one of those Disney adults. However, everything that I like is now done by Disney, so I have no choice.
Exactly.
Here I am making fun of Disney adults as I'm like slowly slinking into fucking Epcot. You know what I mean? So yeah, Disney definitely knows how to make a buck off of you.
For sure. All right. I stole your number 3. So do you want to reveal your number 2 then?
Yeah, I'll go with my number 2. It is the Darksaber. Kind of like
okay.
like technically a sword, but also I mean it's considered a saber. It's the Darksaber.
Yep, it's a saber.
Right, it's just a little different looking than the others, but that's why I think it's so cool. My favorite
lightsaber of the first Mandalorian Jedi.
Right. My favorite things in the Star Wars series, if our listeners have kind of noticed, are all either all black, all white. I like the real, I like the black and white contrast, especially on the ships. I love how all of the like the landing and takeoff bays look. I've always thought that sleekness has always looked so cool, and I just think it continued to the Darksaber. And it is a badass crafted piece of machinery.
Yes, it is. It'll be very interesting to see in the Mandalorian season 3. The Darksaber is obviously going to be a very main story point, as we have Bo-Katan, who's going to have to figure out a way to get it from Din Djarin. Din Djarin, now the leader of Mandalore.
Yeah, really.
So very cool. Yeah, I love that.
Fight, baby.
Very cool. That's another one. That's another one that just looks like heavier and swings more powerful. So
sorry, someone was slammed a door outside. It just sounded like it was right outside my window. Apologize, everybody.
You're good. You're good. All right, my number 2 is going to be Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. So his green one.
Right on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the hilt. It's kind of that classic lightsaber. It's from the originals. It's loosely designed on Obi-Wan's lightsaber hilt, so there's that inspiration from it, which is cool. His original master. It just looks cool. The green, I think that hilt works really well with the green lightsaber. I don't particularly like green lightsabers to begin with. Just for whatever reason, I think the blue ones just look a lot better. But with this hilt, it works for me. So that says a lot. One of the classic, iconic things of Star Wars is this lightsaber hilt. It's the one that he fought Darth Vader with. That's not it.
No.
But yeah, so that's my number 2.
Where are we at?
Yeah, it's on that left there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yep. Fella? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Digging that.
It's got that iconic like copper piece up at the top that gets really thin.
Dig it. I dig it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I
All
guess I'll
right.
just move into my number one. She's not necessarily, well, I guess I just gave it away right there. Duh. I guess she's not the only one with curved hilt sabers, but fucking A,
Ooh.
Ahsoka, baby. Like I said, you might know on the show, I dig things that are either, black or white. I just think, and that's just in my own personal life. I drive a white car. My favorite color is pretty much white. So, but I just think that the white saber with the curved hilts, it's awesome. I think it looks so good, and she knows how to use them very well. So, obviously, it's just, everything comes together with those ones. Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, they're very cool. They're very big in Rebels, so those are her lightsabers in
yep.
Rebels, just 'cause that's the ones she has timeline wise. When we see them in The Mandalorian, so incredible. Seeing like the lightsabers fly through that foggy forest. You don't really see her yet, just carving people up.
Yuck.
Incredible. Hopefully we get a lot more of her and action sequences with her like that in her show.
Right.
You kind of have to. So Logan, I think we're going to get a little more footage of your favorite lightsaber there.
Here, I'll this and just coming down to how it's almost got the katana look. It's definitely a
Hmm.
katana inspired handle, but then they throw the couple more homages in there with the diamond pieces on there, simulating imitating the wrap that used to be on katanas in that wrap style. I don't know what it's called, but um I just
Yeah, yeah,
super
very clearly designed after that. So very cool.
right on.
I
Let's
like
see
that a lot.
what you got for me.
All right, this is almost. It might be like It's like a legacy pick. It's kind of a cheap pick, to be honest. Uh, but it's Anakin's lightsaber,
Oh,
and it
okay.
is Anakin's lightsaber, and it will always be Anakin's lightsaber.
Right on.
Despite what Disney says, apparently in the stores it is labeled as Rey's lightsaber, which
That
is
sucks.
bullshit because she has her own now, which I'll throw that as an honorable mention. Her yellow one is sweet, but
Yeah.
Anakin's lightsaber, again, it's like an iconic hilt. It was very
Classic.
obviously designed after Darth Vader's original because Darth
Yeah.
Vader is Anakin. It's just got a really cool take on it. It's Luke's in the original movies, passed on. Obi-Wan gave it to him. It's like, this is your father's. So there's all that story involved in it. So just really all of that, and also Anakin's like probably like one of my favorite characters. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, but when you look at it, it's just got such an iconic look. I think when the blue blade comes out of it, it's just such a clean look. I'm so glad that they made this one blue in the originals instead of green. Uh, I love it.
Everyone's got one of these laying in their backyard under their deck somewhere. Every single
Oh yeah.
person, every single boy in America has at one point had one of these sitting in their backyard.
Yep.
Um,
And the ones the ones that the toy companies make, those like $5
yeah,
lightsabers, they're always this hilt. They're this hilt
Oh,
with every single
always.
color. Like growing up when we had the plastic ones, I had this hilt that had a purple blade in it. It's like, what? Okay. It just had
Uh,
every color. Like, here, this is lightsaber handle.
I agree though. No, and I like the legacy pick. I do. It's I I don't think by any stretch it's a lazy pick at all. It truly it is the classic, the one of the best in my, and I agree. It's going to get an honorable mention for me. I'll give you the cosign on that one, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Want to do a couple other honorable mentions if you have any in mind? I said Ray's yellow lightsaber, which I do think is pretty cool. It looks pretty cool, I think. So I didn't put it on my list. There's a lot of reasons I like the ones I have on my list better, but yeah, I'd give that an honorable mention.
Is that Darth Ray's? No. What is Darth Ray's? Or
It's
Darth
the
Ray?
it's the dual-sided red saber that like
Right.
she folds up and it goes into like a two blades
Yeah.
sticking up,
Yep. Yep.
which looks
Yep.
really, really cool.
Honorable mention from me. Yeah, it's gonna get the honorable mention for me. That is pretty freaking cool. Hilt's not so cool. It's pretty cut and dry, pretty basic. But I would really like to see her. And I've always been, and I don't know if I've expressed this on the show before, but I have always, always, always been a fan of the ideology that Rey's going to switch over to the dark side. I don't know how possible it is at this point, and it would be pretty lazy if they had the main character switch over to be the main antagonist of the entire series again. But I'm in.
It would, man, that would have been such a good opportunity or storyline to explore with The Last Jedi.
Yes.
You know, if that movie was, you know, her training and starting to explore those dark side tendencies, and then the title Last Jedi is that because she was what could have been the last of the Jedi, and she was because she turned over to the dark side. Boom.
Fuck me if I'm wrong here. You know, I mean, again.
I think we just wrote an awesome 8th movie.
Stop us if we're wrong, but I'm telling you, you change one or two fucking things about those movies, and they are they're incredible.
And then Rise of Skywalker, you get not only her redemption arc, but then you get Kylo's redemption arc as well. Come on. It's not that hard, guys.
It's not that hard. You know, Disney, hey, hire us though, for real. We'll do all your movies for you from here on out. Except I'll be making them shits like a Michael Bay movie. You know how much I love the Transformers. Oh, but that's for a different day. Yeah.
I got one more honorable mention. Yeah, it's the Wookiee from the Clone Wars, his lightsaber. It's one of like the only lightsaber hilts that we see that's made out of wood. It's just a short arc in the Clone Wars. It's super cool. It's got a pretty interesting design to it. Again, it being a wooden lightsaber. You know, you wouldn't really think that those two things would work well together, but it's a cartoon, so they pulled it off.
Yeah, I like it. It looks like very Viking-like. Is his name Gungi? Gungi?
Yeah, Gungi.
Yep.
Here's little Wookiee Jedi who
all of those
unfortunately
sabers.
Was killed.
Yeah, R.I.P. I'll pull up. Here's all the sabers from that little, I guess, arc. You've got Katuni, Zat, Biff, Petro, Gungi, and Ganodi. But yeah, by far the coolest sabers of all of them. Truly. I mean,
for sure.
Here, this one's very kind of got some Anakin homages, you know, with the hilt, but nobody can be the original.
Right.
I mean, that's all I got for this one. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we close out?
No, not really. I'm excited to just keep moving on with this show, figure out where we're going, find out eventually who was on the hologram and all that stuff. We gave our shout outs to those followers and people that are interacting with our socials. So if you want a shout out and to be involved with the podcast, we love that. We appreciate it. Comment below what your top 5 sabers are, or just some of your favorite sabers. And yeah, Instagram is at New Era Nerds Pod. And then TikTok is at new_era_nerds. So yeah, make sure you follow those and interact with us there. We'll shout you out. We'll talk about what you want us to talk about. So pretty awesome stuff. We'd love to see that.
Right on. And like Tommy said, hit us on the socials. We'd love to talk to you. It's, like I always mention for the close of every episode, it's what keeps us going. You guys talking is going to give us more things to talk about. So if you like hearing us talk, then come talk to us. Hopefully, just a couple shots into the future, hoping to have a couple more guests on. We know you guys liked the episode where there was 3 of us, and we loved it too. We enjoyed talking to Dan. So we're going to hopefully, we've got a couple things in the works. I'm not going to reveal anything. Tommy's been getting some things in the works, doing a really good job in the trenches. So I'm going to give him his shout out and his kudos to my man. So stay posted for big things coming. We'll obviously keep you guys posted. And like I said, come hang out, talk to us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We don't want just you hearing our thoughts, Yeah. Anyway, hit us on socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever we might be, we might be chilling on the web. So without further ado, I will close this one out. Love you, Tommy.
Love you too.